Hello, my name is Mitch. I'm going to be showing the Access to Gov cash register solution uh, and discussing a little bit about it. First, before we do start, I do want to talk about the way we actually handle managing users in the system. We do support Active Directory, meaning that you can create employees in your Active Directory, and then they can have access directly into it. What you're able to do is give employees in your Active Directory a group that associated with a role inside of A to G, and this will actually determine what roles that they actually do have. So when you go in and you actually simply select this as Active Directory, all you have to do is simply click OK, and it'll go through there and log it in. Unfortunately for myself, my demo system is not part of an Active Directory, so I'm just going to use what we call Access2Gov employee login. So we'll just log in with that. But as far as Active Directory is concerned, it is simply set up and it will run and process transactions or employees like that. So you'll be able to go in and handle it. You can also do certain things where you can actually have Active Directory determine what locations and places that users are able to have in, or you can actually manage it inside of A to G. So you can have either or whatever you want, whatever suits your needs. So once the user has logged in, I'm right now logged in as a super user, so we don't actually have to worry about permissions, but there is permission-based systems throughout the system. What we do have is we have what we like to call our universal search, where users are able to just simply type in whatever that they are looking for, and you can enter whatever item that you do want. You can just simply start typing in, and as you start typing something in, you can put whatever you want. So as you start typing in, you got your list through here. You can then select your item that you have. When you click it, it'll add it in, and it'll drop it right into the grid simply as you do want. The search also just is more than just sales items. It also allows for customers. So for example, if I want to see if I'm in the system through here, I can start typing in. I'm in here a whole bunch. So I can then also even narrow it down by simply just typing in, starting to do the email. Now, as you can see here, it's a partial search that goes in and adds it in. So when I add myself in, it adds right into here, into the grid. And we can go in and we can add in as many items as we do want. I can even do searches for here to do payment items as we want. But also, too, we want to allow users to have any way that they want to be able to go in and enter it in. So if I actually click this little arrow here, I have what we call quick codes, which allows us to enter in as many items as you want. But we also have the ability to do an item search, where it has a breakdown of categorizations that we call vendors, departments, and classes. So when we go into any different one of these right here. So for example, if I click in animal services, what now it does is it reformats this list and it only shows me results that have animal services in. As you can see here, we only have one vendor. We have multiple departments and we have a couple different items. And then I can just click and I can add that item in as we see fit. And this is something that we have. It's our workflows. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. We go and we add that in. So we add that item in, and you can add in as many items as you want. There's no right or wrong way to go in to add an item. It's simply whatever the user prefers. Obviously, what will always be the quickest way to enter an item in is with the barcode scanner, which is something we do support. You're able to scan that in and click it in. There's never going to be a quicker way to go in and add that in. Then whenever you're ready to do any payments, you can actually hit the payment buttons and it can pop up here with the different payments that you have available to you. So, for example, right now, what I could do is I could put in cash, and what it'll do is it'll automatically put in the amount remaining that I have from here. I have a choice to put that in. So, for example, say they're putting in $750 in cash, they will automatically go from here and give you your change due. We can also do partial payments. So, for example, if I put $500 in, now notice what happens is it tells us the amount remaining is in red, saying we still have $243.29. I can go and I can add in another payment from here that I do that I can go through there and enter in to add that. For right now, my system is not connected to a pin pad for the demo, but you could go in and select a credit card to go enter in that. So once we go in, we enter in that information. As you can see here, we now have it's ready to complete. So we have the complete button has been enabled, allows us to go through there and complete this transaction. So let's go through there and complete that. It'll go through there and save the transaction, and then it'll go through and print it out. From right now, what we have is I have this set up to print out to a printer. So let me just pull up that receipt so you can take a look at it. It is just opened up on my other screen. And as you can see here, this is our default receipt. The default receipt is able to be modified by you guys. It does allow for you go into the admin and to do any sort of changes to meet whatever needs that you want to have. But this is what our default receipt looks like. So it just gives you some idea of what you're looking at. Now, one of the things that we do have is we do want to be able to go through there and process some metadata. So those are what we call workflows. So if we go through here and we pull a workflow. So because of the fact that there is so many different types of data that you do want to actually capture, enter in, we do allow for different fields to go and enter in. So for example, we have your simple text box that we have from here. So you can type in whatever text value that you want. You have the alphanumeric, so you can just type in and then you got a freeform text field that you could type in whatever's needed. So if you have to have something much longer, the alphanumeric is set up to about 50 characters. The actual text field is somewhere about 65,000. So you do have that. You have numbers where you can go up and down. So just your regular numbers. You can have decimal values. So if you want to enter that in, you can have that. And you even have yes, no questions, on, off, whatever you do want. We also do have a bunch of different pickers. So we can have a drop-down list where you can actually select what you want, yes, no, whichever one you do want have from here. We also have a date, so you can pick whatever date range that you want, and you can even select your time to set your time to whatever you do want. We also do have validation built in. So in this case here, this only allows for uppercase. So right now, so if we type in upper, it now tells me that the uppercase is now done. Notice now it's going through and it's requiring for a postal code field. Now, in our validations, one of the things we actually do support is something called regex. Don't necessarily need to worry about it if you don't know what that is. It's just a programming thing where we can go and validate text. So I can't just type in any random piece of information for postal code. It actually needs to be a valid postal code. So if I put something in that does follow the postal code standards, it then now enters it in. And we can even do something simple as like just it has to start with info before it does anything else. Have whether display. So you can put in logic. So so right now here, so for example, if the option 1 is always there, if we actually type in 5, it will go through there and enter in option 5 to go through there and display that. And we also have required, depending on whether the field is required or if it's not required. Click OK. That item gets added to the grid. Just so you do know, if you do need to do at any point, you want to go through there and edit, you just click edit and you'll have that information right from here to go through there and display it out. Now, one of the things that Access to Gov does, and one of the things that we like to do is we like to be able to pull in from other systems. So be able to pull in data from other systems. So what we have through here is what we like a little demo system we set up that will fake this out. But the idea of it is that it goes out to a third party. For example, in this case, this is looking at a red light trafficking system. So the idea being is they type in a ticket number, so they could go in, enter in your ticket number, click load. What it's actually doing right now is that it's going out to our back end. It's saying, hey, back end, we have this ticket number. Can you please tell us what's supposed to be on it? And what it does is it goes in, looks up, validates that is in this case a valid ticket number, and then comes back and says, okay, this is what the price of it is, and then automatically gets dropped into the grid for users to go and to enter in there. It allows you to have much simpler and less error prone systems, because it's actually talking to the other system to complete it. Then once we go in and we actually complete this transaction, so I'm just going to go in here and complete this transaction. What will end up happening is it will actually go out and print it out, and it will actually now that this transaction has been completed, it will then once again connect to the ticketing system, say this ticket has now been paid for, and it will actually go through there and send it out. And one thing here I do want to talk about here. So, for example, here in this test system, I am going to enter in the late field from here. So what ends up happening is that I'm simulating that that this transaction has been late. So the initial red light fee was $180, but the late fee coming in at $12.50. So that's something that automatically gets applied. So the cashier themselves do not need to track or maintain whether or not there's a late field. It automatically goes through and gets pulled down and gets pushed into the system, so the user doesn't have to do anything. One thing I also like to point out, we did try to do make things as simple and easy for people. So in this case, if someone is confused why they're not able to actually complete the transaction, they can actually move your mouse over and says that the transaction doesn't balance, meaning that right now, if you actually do take a look right here, it says the amount remaining is still this amount. You can also click on this, and this will give you a breakdown of what that is, and also all of our keyboard shortcuts and our commands we go entered in. What we also are able to do is we're do something called orders, where we're able to actually process an order and push it and to process it later. And at any point we can start an order. So once again, an order requires a customer. So I'm just going to add myself in. And then what I'm going to do is right now I'm going to start an order. And to do this, I can hit my options menu, pulls this down, and I can click the button that says start order. But just so you do know, we do actually have keyboard shortcuts through here. So if we actually went in and actually just typed in start order, it automatically would go through there and complete it. Now notice what has to end up happening now is my complete button has actually been enabled, even though I haven't entered any payments, because an order allows us to do a payment at a later date. So right now I could go through here and hit complete. And what it can do is it will actually prompt me to whether or not I want to save or complete this. Well, in this case, I don't have all my payments. I'm not able to go through there and complete it. So right now I'm going to go through there and just save it. I will save the order in the system so I can go through there and look it up later. This does allow for users to do multiple different ways to look it up. So for example, what I can do is I can pull up the customer that I have right now, and then I can go into here and select retrieve order. And then it gives me the option, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to enter a specific receipt number or search from the customer that I have? Well, we can simply select the first customer that we see, and we can see all the receipts that are the orders that I have. So for example, one that we just did, it's selected right here, and I can go through there and select it. And now at this point, if I wanted to, I can now go through here and complete this transaction. If I want, so I could go through here, select this, and complete this transaction. That's gone through here and completed this transaction. We've tried to do some simple stuff as well. Like, so for example, the last receipt that was done, by simply clicking on it right here, it'll automatically go through there and reprint. And you can even right click on it to go through there and copy it. So you can make through simple informations like that. So let me just go through here. I want to show how we go through there and refund something. So let's go in and enter in. I'm going to pay this option by check. So I'm just going to pay this transaction. So I'm going to complete this transaction. So I have a new transaction to do a refund on. So I'm just going to copy this. So at this point, I am going to, I could go through the menu system. I'm just going to type in refund. and that will pull up our refund system. So the first thing that's going to do is going to ask you, well, you have a reason code. Why is this happening? Now, these codes are actually configurable by you. You can change them whenever you do want, and you can go in here and enter your receipt number. What ends up happening right here is that this gives you, hey, this is the transaction you have. The user gives an option to take a look at it and confirm that this is what they want to do. So this is what we call a reversal, meaning that they were going to make a transaction that is completely equal to the original, only in negative amount. If for whatever reason you want to change anything up, you need to give it another payment, or there's multiple items on it and you want to only refund a couple of them, what we do is we have a refund button that removes the payment option from here and your items, and you're able to do refunds or promotions. So you can add in an item that wasn't there, or you can refund it under a different amount. In this point, I'm doing cash. Just so that I should point out right from here, if you do notice, the total is $17.99, but right through here is that it's coming out $18. This is because this system is set up for penny rounding, so that it rounds to the nearest penny, so you don't have to worry about that. So now it goes through here and completes that. So let me talk. I want to talk a little bit about now our online. Here, actually, before I do that, let's talk a little bit about the reporting. So if we go in here, we have a what we call the transaction report. This that we have this in both of our admin and in our back end. And this allows people to go in. When you pull it from the cash register, what it's designed to default to see all the transactions that you have currently done that day. So it sets it up for that terminal to go and do it. So we can select any one of these, and then we can see the information about a particular receipt. Gives you a breakdown of everything that we have. Remember, this is the workflow item that we did earlier. And when I selected it, it pulls in and shows me all the information that I entered into that workflow from there. We are able to actually load different reports. We can do different groupings to have to meet any needs that you do have, and they can be saved and be done. We also have the ability to schedule reports. These reports would be automatically emailed to users when they have it. A lot of people like to have it for like finance. They don't necessarily want to be in the system. They want to be in their accounting package, whatever that be, JD, PeopleSoft, whatever their accounting package is, and they just want to see the reports. So we email them reports morningly. They get the report, they take a look at it, and they just continue on with it. So makes it nice and simple and easy, depending on what they need. Let me. So let me go through here, and I wanted to show you something that what we call our e-commerce portion through here. Let me pull it up. What we call is our package for doing here. What we call which is a webhook, which is just this big URL that you can go in and you can click on. And what it'll do is it will automatically load up and it'll enter this information in. So let's actually show it so that it looks a little bit better. No. So now you see it loads it up and it enters in that information from here. Now, remember we talked about the workflows. Well, those workflows on the web work just the same. They all got entered in, and they entered in here. So if we actually take a look at this, let's take a look at this workflow, this webhook. I'm just going to do a quick breakdown. So if you notice what we have here, we have the item that we're sending it, and then the workflow information, right? So as you can see here, when I click on this, you'll notice that's all the information that's right here. All the information that is actually being processed is being pushed over to this transaction. A lot of customers like doing this so that they can simply have a process that's outside of ADG where they collect the information, and then they just send it over to us for us to actually process the transaction. This allows for quick ad hoc processing. In this case, we do need to enter emails. I am going to enter in my email. Enters that in, and what we could do is we could go proceed in payment. In this case, in our demo system, we have our demo system being set up to Moneris, but obviously we can do whatever we want, including our own payment platform called Access2Payment. In this case, we now enter in the customer would enter in their information. So let's just put in this information that we're putting in, billing address. There we go. And then we go through here and we complete this transaction. And now what we've done is we go through there and sent it. Now, one of the things we do have on our webhook is once we actually have it process it, we can actually send it over to the system to go through there and complete it. What we have. So it makes it nice and easy, or we can leave it on our screen. The other thing of it is so that works very well for ad hoc anytime that another system is just going through and entering in there, but there's other times where you'll actually have to do a fair amount of work beforehand and process it. Well, we also can handle that as well. If you recall the orders that I just showed you in the cash register, well, those orders can work just the same way as they do on the web for customer to payment. Now, they're not able to go through there and change anything about the order because the idea of it is the order is pretty rigid. It's been set up. It's going to go through there and be processed. But what it, just like you're able to do is you're able to create the order inside of A to G. Now, we also do support having third parties actually talk to us and integrate with us, and where they can actually send us the orders from there, and we can go through there and process it, validate it, make sure everything is correct, process it into our system, and then puts it out. And then either we can email out this link to a customer, or the other system does. It's whatever works best for you guys. Is we can go through there and support that. And what we do is we get this receipt where the end customer can go through here, click on it, and proceed to checkout. And once again, very similar to what we had before. You can see this. I'll just try to do this as quickly as possible. Let me get a credit card. My clipboard was, there we go. Entered in a proper credit card. There we go. And we could go through here and complete this. Once that's done, it's now processed and it's all been paid for. It then gets pushed back into the system, so it's ready to go. And this has been paid. The email has been this receipt has been paid for by the user. Let me see here. Let me pull this up. Here it is. Close up on my receipt. So as you can see here, here is the receipt that we just went through there and we did, where we can see we got processed for $75, and they got the information here, and this has been automatically been sent. And then the user is able to at any points also email the receipt as well. What we find is that a lot of times with these orders, the person who is actually paying for it is not always the person that is actually receiving the service. So a lot of times what we do is we actually just have them simply go in and being able to enter in whatever email they want. They can enter that information in, and they'll email over to to whoever it needs to be.